the higher end ones have it, the Fisher Paykel or whatever.
Right.
I was remodeling a kitchen in a house I no longer have, and I put that one in. I put the Fisher whatever one in. And when you read the manual of the company that makes the thing somewhere in Sweden, it says, here's how you install it with an air gap, and here's how you install it with no air gap. If you'd like to go this route, meaning not bore a hole in the top of your countertop. And I said, well, I don't want to bore a hole in top of my countertop, so I'll do it this way. But when the inspector comes over, what does he say? Where's the air gap? And I say, hey, look at the manual. Unnecessary. And he says, oh, no, it's not. We want to see an air gap. And I say, that law was put on your retarded books in 1953 when dishwashers needed air gaps. And he says, I don't care. I want to see an air gap.
Yep.
And I say, but it's unnecessary. The manufacturer of the product does not require it, and it works just fine. And he says, no, I'd like to see one, or I won't sign off on your kitchen. So what do? I get under the sink. I take the soap dispenser thing out. I put the air gap thing in the hole where the soap dispenser thing is. I hook up a bunch of stuff. I cut my finger turning a bunch of pipe clamps, and I hook it up. He comes over. He signs off. Then I pull the whole thing apart, and I put the soap dispenser back in. Then I do a new kitchen. That's in the house I'm in now, 10 years later. And what happens?
Oh, no.
The guy shows up and he says, where's the air gap? I've been using the goddamn thing for 5 years now. No problemo. That's what the manufacturer says. He says, I will take the manufacturer's book back with me and consult with the plumbing expert back in building and safety in Van Nuys. 2 days later, he comes back and he says, I'm going to need to see that air gap, which means I have to drill a hole in my counter or stick on a fake one so he can sign it off. That's how archaic, retarded, and bureaucratic these guys are. Are you telling me that they couldn't put a few more rules in with all the sea of rules about insulation or double pane glasses or anything like that? Of course they could. What's wrong with them?
They're going to do it now. They're doing it every year. There's more and more rules that give you better insulation, more energy efficiency. I think it needs to happen quicker. If that's what you're saying, I agree.
Can we talk to Ed about his book?
Yes.
Momentarily.
No, sure.
Living Like Ed.
I'll talk about anything.
A Guide to the Eco-Friendly Life.
Yeah.
I agree with Adam. The man should be helping us out and making regulations. But in the meantime, what can we do today to help us live more eco-friendly and more cheaply?
And that's what the book is about, to pick the low-hanging fruit first, to do the stuff that's the cheapest and easiest first. And what we recommend, many things you can do today that are super cheap. Buy a compact fluorescent bulb. Get an energy-saving thermostat. Ride a bike if weather and fitness permit. Take public transportation if it's available near you. Plant a vegetable garden out back if you got a little piece of dirt in your front or backyard. Live in an apartment. Get part of a community garden. There's so many things that you can do, many of which I just listed, which are dirt cheap. And that's what I did in 1970. I was a struggling actor. I didn't have any money in 1970 when I started this stuff. I did the cheap and easy stuff first because I had no money, and I learned, much to my surprise, I was doing it for the environment. I went, what's this? I got extra money this month. Where did that come from? And I saved more money, and I did more things.
Selling pot from the garden.
Well, there's that too.
What was in that garden, Ed?
That's true. Well, there's that. Okay, I left that out. But the point I'm trying to make,
420-pound gourd.
I saved some money from the composting too, and the bike riding.
Well, yeah, that's what I keep saying about the dual glazed glass or the extra insulation in the wall or the compact fluorescents. Don't do it for me. Do it for you.
Yeah.
You'll save money.
Well, Adam stopped getting all his junk mail. He just told the mailman, I don't want it.
Yeah, right.
How did you do that?
No, they keep delivering the junk mail.
I tried. I went to all those lists that I did.
Of course.
Send a thing here to the thing in New York.
I haven't succeeded in this.
No, it's never worked for me.
Can I ask you this, Ed? Apartment buildings.
Yeah.
Apartment buildings, to the best of my knowledge, don't have recycling programs. Now, their garbage is contracted out. The city doesn't do it. They do private firms do it.
Right.
Do they recycle it, and how does it work, and what do you know about that?
Some of them do. Most apartment buildings, they don't want to pay the extra tariff because it does cost some money to do it. But what they have, some inventive programs they have now, you have like the Blue Bin LADWP program. They have a blue bag program in apartment buildings. You put in a blue bag in the same dumpster. Then when the dumpster goes to the tipping floor and they unload it, at a MRF or something, materials recovery facility, they can just take those blue bags out.
Where do I
get
a blue bag?
There's got to be a program in place. I think Waste Management might even do a blue bag program. There's some waste haulers that do it now. Browning Ferris or Waste Management, one of those waste haulers has a blue bag program, I believe, which is the best way to do it in an apartment building.
Ed, can I just say this again because I hate the man. I lived in an apartment building for most of my adult life, and I was doing the math on these apartment buildings. There were formerly 2 houses where there's now 5 stories and 50 units.
Yeah.
I mean, originally there were just 2 single-family houses. It usually takes the footprint of about 2 single-family houses where 8 or 10 people reside. They tore it down. They built a 5-story unit. It has 5-story building, has 50 units in it. There's now 200 people creating that much trash in that same space, times hundreds of thousands in just the San Fernando Valley alone. Now, 15 years ago, I said, hey, I want to recycle. I have my cans, I have my bottles, I want to separate them, I want to put them somewhere. What can we do? And I called the city, and they said, we have a pilot program we're working on. They did nothing. I had to collect everything and take it to the recycling center myself.
Yeah.
A friend who works on the show, Mike, said to me 8 months ago, I moved to North Hollywood. I live in an apartment building. I said, do they have a recycling program? He said, no, I called the city. I said, what did they say? He said, they're starting a pilot program for it.
The pilot was Amelia Earhart. Disappeared.
I know. How lame are we? How little do we care about this? I mean, it seems to me that one 5-story apartment building creates the amount of garbage is 25 houses. Why isn't more being focused on recycling just at the apartment level?
We're going to have to, Adam. You're right, because now the cost of taking the trash to Eagle Mountain or whatever they plan on taking it by rail and all that stuff, and the people at Sunshine Canyon don't want that trash anymore. Who can blame them with all the diesel trucks in the valley?
Do we blame Via Retardo for this? Because I feel like he's a horrible mayor. He can't fill a pothole. He's done what? What has he done?
He's trying to do a lot of green initiatives.
Is he green?
He's done. Yes, he's done
brown.
A lot of stuff so far.
He works on brown. That's
he's
all.
He's done a lot of stuff for the environment too.
Like what? And why no apartment building stuff?
It's hard. It's hard to do. Well, it's harder.
Hold on a second.
I did it in 1970.
He's putting a camera up in every single intersection to take a picture of you so you can have a ticket waiting for you when you get home.
Right.
So it's easier than that, is it not?
A lot easier.
All right, then what is he doing?
I'll give you, he's done a lot of green initiatives, with the DWP and others, pushed for a lot of green power that other mayors have not. He's really done a lot for green power. He's done
Where is it?
It's there's a much greater mix now coming in the LADWP because of him.
Where's my apartment building recycling?
We're gonna get it. I'm gonna work.
What year is it?
Take a little time to be quiet.
What year are we living in?
In 1970, I recycled in my apartment. They said it was hard then in 1970, and I had a big can that I saved there. They thought it was crazy.
But who do we blame? I mean, why? Look, let's put it this way. We all know the city is very effective when they want to be effective at something. Goddamn, drive around and see how good they are at handing out parking tickets. See how many meter maids are out on the beat. I see 2 and 3 of them piled up. I saw 2 or 3 of them just like congregating, like a gaggle of them the other day. Think about
they get so much cash from that.
Yes,
sure.
Okay, they're great. They're awesome when they're taking money from you.
Right.
Why don't you take some of the money that you take from us and put it toward these programs that we could actually use instead of harassing us?
I agree.
So what's Villaraigosa doing about it?
He's done a lot on the solid waste issues. He's done a lot for cleaning up the Santa Monica Bay. Historically, when he was in the state legislature, he did a lot too. He has a very good environmental record, and I'll get you some details. I'm not just giving general stuff. I will get you that today, I promise you.
What about on the national level? A big debate tonight amongst the Democrats. Who are you supporting?
I was originally supporting John Edwards. He's, as you know, out of the race now, so now I'm supporting Obama. Rochelle, my wife, wants to kill me. She's a big fan of Hillary's, and so it's a lot of tension in the household. But
I like that.
Will you watch the debate tonight between those two?
Oh, yeah.
You and the wife?
No, she's going back east. She's got to visit her family back east. So she, I don't know if she'll be there in time to watch it. No, she won't. So we'll have to report to her.
Like when things get heated in the Ed Begley Jr. house, are there threats like, don't make me take my Birkenstocks off?
Exactly.
Take my Birkenstocks off.
I've never owned Birkenstocks, but my hemp shoes, which I have on right now.
Oh, let's see.
No, they're not hemp. Bamboo.
A bamboo shoe.
Recycled tire.
Don't make me drop the bamboo dogs. And then she pulls out one of those can crusher things and starts waving it around.
Right.
Come on.
You have one of Villaraigosa's cameras in my home, don't you? You're watching me.
Want somebody?
Trying to get me to do something crazy with her, but I'm not going to do it.
You came to the right place. Ed pulls out a Boda bag and starts swinging it over his head. Come on.
Been reading my mail, mister.
Hey, Lisa.
Hi.
You have a question about Ed's air conditioning system?
I do. Ed?
Yeah.
Can't wait to buy your book, by the way.
Thank you.
I love watching your show. We've just done a remodel on our house.
Mm-hmm.
The show Living with Ed, by the way.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. And I have my Ed checklist. And I've got bamboo floors in.
Wow. Good for you.
I have my little toilets. Got a tankless water heater.
Great.
Bamboo floors, fast-growing crop.
Fast-growing, very strong wood.
Very strong and very
And it looks
plentiful.
great.
It looks great, too.
Great.
Right.
Bamboo's a great way to go. You're doing good.
That's your win-win.
It
thing.
sure is.
It looks good. It's durable. It doesn't hurt the environment. Why not do it over red oak? All right. Sorry. Go ahead,
you
Lisa.
were my inspiration because I had fallen in love with these walnut floors, and then I said, no, I can't do it.
I love you. Thank you.
And now,
you're my inspiration.
What about the air conditioning question you had, Fred?
I saw something on one of your shows last year that had something. It was some sort of system for your air conditioning unit. We just bought a new AC unit, and to be honest with you, the AC is a big source of frustration between my husband and I because he's the crazy penny pincher, and he's turning it off, and I'm turning it on, and trying to keep the kids cool, and I went to Home Depot and I can't find it.
Okay, it's called Cool and Save. You can find it at livingwithed.net, livingwithed.net, and just click on the right there, one of the products that Ed uses, or drop me an email at edbegley.com, whatever you can remember or write down now. But the thing is, a swamp cooler, if you want to install one of those, it'll make your air conditioner work a lot less. You put them in a window, and then you don't have to turn the air on as much. A ceiling fan. But this thing, Cool and Save, what it does is it pre-cools the coil. The coil is outside. The compressor, if it's making cool air in your house, it has to make hot air somewhere. That's outside your house. And this is a little thing that puts a mist, very little water, doesn't use much water at all, and it pre-cools the coil. It seems to work pretty good. It worked at my house. So it's called Cool and Save.
And it's livingwithed.com.
.net, actually. Sorry, livingwithed.net.
Because I went to Living with ED.
Well,
and it was
what did Rochelle tell you? Living with erectile dysfunction.
It was a totally different
website. What did Rochelle tell you?
Leave your wife out of this, Edward. Now we have something to tell you off the air.
Okay.
All right, sweetie pie.
Thank you so much for doing all that stuff.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Love your show.
It feels good. The other question I have for you, Ed Begley Jr., I wanted to go to solar power at a certain point, but I was told that I needed some sort of shut-off switch at the street that the DWP could shut off.
Yes.
And they said other states don't require this, and it doesn't make sense because the system shuts off when there's a power surge or whatever the technical side was. It's a safety thing, but yet nobody else requires it except for us in California. And he said it's a deal breaker for a lot of people because they can't run it all the way out to the street.